He's 6'3". I'm 5'2". He weighs 230 pounds. I weigh 108. When he finally hit me, raised his hand to me, I went down with a bang. Because he's that much bigger than me. And he meant for it to hurt. And I know he meant for it to hurt because while I was lying on the floor, like basically unconscious, he then proceeded to spit on me. He's been so petty. His list of what he wanted from the divorce: iPhone cord, iPad cord, iPad plug.
I need to hit the brakes real quick, but you just said lawyers charge per phone call and email?
Yes, yeah. So I had a retainer of a very large amount and it just got depleted, but I never spoke to them on the phone. So I asked them what is going on, and they said it's my soon-to-be ex-husband emailing them. Every time he emails them, they have to respond. They charge per email that they respond. So he was doing it strategically to train my retainer.
What's up, beautiful people? It's your favorite light, MB, in this thing with another episode of the Confidence Way podcast, where we are shining light on the darkness that is domestic violence and abuse. If you've never been here before, we got 3 simple goals: educate, empower, and encourage. We are here to educate anyone who has never been in an abusive relationship, doesn't understand the complexities of abusive relationships, and perhaps is in an abusive relationship and didn't even know it. We're also here to empower all of our survivors to share your story without shame, fear, guilt, or judgment, because you are strong, you are powerful, and your voice deserves to be heard. And we are here to encourage anyone who is currently suffering in silence. Listen, you are not alone. You are not crazy. Abuse is not normal. Your feelings are valid. And despite how it may look and feel in this very moment, there's always a way out. But you got to be willing to seek support. Now let's go ahead and get in this thing, because it's time to rise above these insecurities, release the burdens of shame and guilt, and revive our God-given power, purpose, and passion the confidence way. Because we about to light it up. Y'all know what it is. Another amazing episode, and we have another exceptionally amazing guest. She is an author. She is all things magnificent. She is everything you need in this very single moment. She is a life coach. She is here to change the world. She is here to shake up some shame. She is here to let her voice be heard, because your voice is powerful. She knows she has the power, and she about to shine a little bit of light your way to help empower you to do whatever it is you need to do and get out of whatever situation you need to get out of, because it's about to go down. I hope y'all are ready. Put your hands together, or snap your fingers, or shake your fingers, and do what you want to do today. But give it up for our guest, Jessica. Pew, 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 pew.
Hey, how are you?
Jessica, you know it's a great day to be alive, girl. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. I'm very busy with getting ready for the launch of my book. So lots of things to do and self-representing now in court. So studying all the laws, I'm not even American, having to start from scratch.
So let's talk about that real quick, because they don't know what's going on. So we just gonna, before I even ask any other questions, number 1, you're not American. Number 2, you're in America. Number 3, you're self-representing yourself in a current court case, and you're studying the laws of America. Talk to us about that, please.
So I am basically self-representing myself in my divorce. I had an attorney. However, my soon-to-be ex, he's a very wealthy man, and he was drawing out my divorce. So constantly emailing my lawyers for petty things, and lawyers charge per email, per phone call. He was really dragging it out and draining me financially. So I let my lawyers go, and I thought to myself, what can I do? Because now I am stuck. And I said, well, let me self-represent, because my voice has been powerful enough up until now. And I do believe that if I study the laws, I can represent myself, because nobody's going to defend me like I will defend me, because it's survival. So I am representing myself for this divorce.
First of all, y'all, we can't hear you, but please clap it up for Jessica, because I don't know how many Americans wouldn't take the time to study American law to represent themselves in a situation. They might just give up, but you are not giving up, sis. You know that you have a purpose on this planet, and you're not going to let anything stop you from getting there. But I need to hit the brakes real quick. But you just said lawyers charge per phone call and email.
Yes, yeah, per phone call, per email. They, so I had a retainer of a very large amount and it just got depleted, but I never spoke to them on the phone. So I asked them what is going on, and they said, no, it's my soon-to-be ex-husband emailing them. And every time he emails them, they have to respond. They charge per email that they respond. So he was doing it strategically to train my retainer so that I would struggle like I have been. I mean, I have literally been eating 2-minute noodles for the past 6 months for dinner because of how expensive this has been. But he's been so petty in the way that his list of what he wanted from the divorce, he put on there iPhone cord, iPad cord, iPad plug, half cutlery, half crockery. I'm not even joking. I wish I could make this up.
One thing I know about a homeboy is that a homeboy is going to be petty, but that is maximum pettiness.
I mean, he asked for the plug for the iPad. I said to him, well, I said to my lawyers, I don't even, what? 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 I actually was in shock. How? How could somebody be so petty? And an iPhone cord? I said, like, I have my iPhone cord that I charge my phone with. I I don't know where his special cord is. At this point, we had been separated for a while. So the fact he was like asking for this stuff, like, I don't know where your precious iPhone cord is that you're looking, your special magical cord. So it was things like that, that when you email the lawyers back and forth, they charge per email. And it is very frustrating because even if you're not involved and you don't want to be involved in that email thread, you are, and they are charging.
And he depleted your retainer simply by sending emails and calling.
Exactly, because I would post things on Facebook and just mentioning my story, posting educational videos about domestic violence, being a survivor. Oh, that didn't go down well. He emailed so many times about getting those taken down, and my lawyers actually defended me and said she's not doing anything wrong. So it was a constant back and forth that he wanted those down. But what my lawyers told me when I would ask about the depletion would be like, we have to reply. Otherwise, sometimes what happens is it goes straight to the courts and he'll file a motion. So they were defending me for him not to file certain motions.
Y'all, she's not making this up. We ain't even in the conversation yet, and the buffoonery has already begun. What is going on? Wow. This is a first. We've had plenty of conversations on this show, but this is a first where we're going back and forth about attorney fees because homeboy is intentionally sending multiple emails to dry you out.
Yeah. It's just another tool that somebody with power will use, just manipulating their power and manipulating the system to bring you down. And what you need to remember is you got to keep rising. And that's why I took away that power tool for him of my lawyers, because I was like, if there's no lawyers involved, he's not going to be emailing back and forth. Where is his power? His lawyers now have to email me, and I don't charge per email, and I will fight to my core because this is survival. Well, please can I tell you, I haven't received one email. It's all stopped.
So your attorneys notify his attorneys, hey, we're no longer on this case. She's self-representing. All future communication needs to be directed to her.
So they actually notify the courts. So they notify the courts that they're withdrawing because I no longer want to work with them. And then his attorneys get notified. Now, that was also another drama because I am self-representing, so I'm essentially my own lawyer. Now, all these things were happening in the court, and I wasn't notified about anything. Certain motions were filed. So I was very upset about that because that's very illegal. You're not allowed to do that. You have to inform me. So it's a long story, but basically, I know my rights, and I've stated my rights, and I'm defending the fact that they need to inform me. His lawyers have to inform me about what is going on. I'm self-representing.
Bananas.
Yeah.
Bananas. Okay, well let's really get in this conversation. So is this homeboy that we're talking about right now, is he the only person that you've been in an abusive relationship or manipulating relationship with?
Put it this way, if I had abusive relationships, they're null and void now because of the shit that he's done. He has taken top place. I have actually forgotten about any petty, oh, my heart's broken, he's a narcissist. I've forgotten about that, you know. I learned a whole new meaning for the word narcissist. I learned a whole new meaning for the word love bombing, gaslighting. I had to reinvent myself because of him. I've never experienced anything like this.
How long were y'all together?
We were together since the end of 2022 and up until he, up until I first reported his abuse, which was May of last year. And then we separated because he had been abusive, throwing things at me, throwing chairs at me, just trying to abuse my dogs. Like I mentioned, I would throw myself between my dogs and him because he would just go for them. I'm not saying that this is an excuse because there's no excuse for domestic violence or just of any form, but he was an addict. Now, I sometimes think to myself, if he wasn't, would he have been this bad? But he's sober now, and he's still terrorizing me. So I'm like, it's not the addiction, it's him.
So before we get into all the crazy, we got to go back to the beginning. So y'all met in 2022.
Yes.
What Where did y'all meet? How did y'all meet? And what attracted you to him?
We met in South Africa. He was there on a business trip. He came into the restaurant that I was a manager of. He saw me. Then he came back 5 days in a row to my restaurant. Tried to work up the courage to talk to me until he finally did on like the fifth day. But to me, it was very weird because the moment I spoke to him for the first time, he was very confident. So I had no idea why he had waited 5 days. I'm still trying to figure this all out. If he was studying me, because basically what abusers do is that they mirror you, they learn you, they study you, so that when they get a chance to talk to you, it's like you've known them your whole life. They understand you. It's their in. So I'm still trying to understand, was he shy or was he studying me? Because the moment he spoke to me, he was so charming. He was bigger than life personality, charming, out there. Just you wanted to listen to him talk. And that to me, I was very drawn in by that because I felt like I have this concept with confidence that when someone's confident, I think to myself, what do they know that I don't? Why are they so confident? What do they have in store for me? So I was thinking that to myself. I was like, why is he so confident? Why is he like this? I was just instantly drawn in. And the rest was sort of history where we spent every single day together for, I mean, there's so much more to this story, and I go into that in my book because it's like too much. I mean, I would keep you here for like 3 hours if I had to explain it all. But I go into it in detail in my book, but the rest is kind of history. But now he asked me to come to America for a holiday.
Okay, slow down. Wait a second.
Okay, sorry.
Slow it down. We got to pump. You
I just
rolling over the speed bumps, Jess.
I just get excited. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I know. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to
Okay,
make sure
okay,
y'all don't roll over the speed bumps.
okay.
Okay. So you live in South Africa at the time. He comes in for a business trip. How old is he?
At the time, he was 20. He was turning 26. He was
Okay.
26. Yeah,
So that puts him what, 2, 3 years older than you.
yeah.
Okay. He comes into your restaurant 5 times in a row. Then on the fifth day, he finally talks and he's so charming, as they always are. And you can't just fast forward. How
Yeah.
long was he in South Africa on that business trip? And how long were y'all like communicating with each other while he was there?
Well, he was only meant to be there for about 3 months, but when he met me, he extended his stay for another 3 months. He basically moved into my apartment.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay. So he's on a 3 month business trip.
Yes.
And so from the moment that y'all actually started talking until the 6 months were up, y'all were basically like inseparable.
Well, I started to work. I mean, in South Africa, working hours are horrendous. You sometimes work like 18-hour days. It's really tough. So I was still working, but he basically moved into my apartment, but without my permission, just made himself comfortable.
When did you invite him over the first time?
So basically, he, when I met him at my restaurant, he said, "Do you want to get a drink after this?" And I said, "Well, I ended like 2 o'clock in the morning, so I doubt that." And he said, "I'll be there. Just tell me where to meet you." And now in South Africa, bars stay open like sometimes till like 4 o'clock in the morning, so it's not like they stopped serving alcohol and stuff like that. So I said, okay, meet me at this bar. Now we had like a drink, and in South Africa, we have this saying like, once you're finishing up a conversation, I'm gonna head home now. You're more than welcome to join for like a nightcap, and I'll see you there. But like nobody ever comes. It's just like a courtesy thing. Like you're like, cool, no, I'll catch you another time. It's just like a courtesy thing. So I hopped in my car, got home, and I went straight to bed because I had work the next day. I mean, I was gonna be exhausted. He arrived outside my house. Um, in South Africa, we have massive fences, so it's not like you can get to the front door. We have massive electric fences and you can't get in. And I got about like 16 missed calls from him saying, I'm here, let me in, I'm outside your house. Now, I was sleeping through this because nobody ever comes.
Did you give him your address?
Yes, yes, I
Okay.
did. Yeah, I did give him my address. I mean, this was all part of that conversation. like we had at the bar, like you're more welcome to come, blah blah blah. And he actually showed up. But like I said, nobody ever shows up, so I went to bed. Now, in the morning, I was quite flattered by all these missed calls and all these messages. I mean, I had so many messages from him. Well, I was flattered, but also like I felt bad, but flattered like, wow, he must really like me. So I wanted to make it up to him, and I said to him, you know what, like I'm really sorry. Nobody ever comes after the fact. And let's have a movie night at my house. Like you can actually come into my house this time. Now, sorry, I won't fast forward if you because
No,
this
go ahead. Go ahead. You
okay,
got it.
okay. Okay. He came to my house that night after work. And now in South Africa, we're not really binge drinkers. We drink wine, we have a glass of wine. We don't sometimes we binge drink if we're in the party mood, but we usually don't. Now I got a really nice bottle of wine for us, and he finished that and like three more after that.
Bottles,
Bottles.
like bottles, full
Like
bottles
bottles. Yeah.
by himself.
Yeah. Because I had about like one or two glasses. So for me, I was thinking he's on holiday, he's just relaxing. Because when I'm on holiday, I mean, I'm laid back and I have maybe one too many drinks. But I
But
didn't.
Jess, one too many drinks and three full bottles are two totally different things.
I yeah. I wasn't also sure because I had never met an American. I didn't know your drinking culture. I didn't know if that was the norm. So I didn't want to judge because I don't judge people. I just kind of let it be and I just let it go. Well, he ended up passing out on my couch. And again, I had work. So I left him sleeping on my couch. I went to bed, had to get up and go to work the next day. And then from the moment he passed out on my couch, that's when he kind of just moved in. He like never left my couch.
So this is day two,
Yes.
but he clearly had his own place to stay because he was staying somewhere else
Yeah.
the first 5 days.
I mean, he was staying at a five-star hotel, but he decided to move into my tiny apartment.
Okay, so we got to sit here for just a minute and unpack this. So you go to work, so you wake up the next day and he's still on the couch, and you go to work while he's still on the couch.
Yes.
Okay, does he stay there the entire time you're at work and you come back home to him, or does he leave and go? I mean, he's got to
But
change clothes. He's on a business trip. Does he have meetings or something he has to do?
he stays there. I was very confused about everything. I was that's what I thought, like don't you have meetings, don't you have places to be? But he kind of just moved in. After that, he did eventually go back to his hotel to fetch his clothes to move in.
Okay, so now I want to ask you, why didn't you ask him any of those questions? Like, why are you always here? Why aren't you going to work? What makes you think it's okay to stay? How come you didn't ask any of those questions?
I didn't ask them because I don't think I was as enlightened as what I am now to what people, how dangerous people can be and how you should look at the warning signs. I mean, now studying life coaching and from my experience, would I ever let a man just crash at my house and move in after the second day? Absolutely not. Would I ever allow those things to happen again? Ab Absolutely not. But if I see a man drinking bottles of wine in front of me, passing out, is that normal? No. I was also quite young. I had never been exposed to these sort of things. And yeah, I mean, like I said, now absolutely not.
And I wanted to ask that question because like even in my own experiences, my story is different from yours, but there are questions in a lot of our experiences when it comes to getting to know other people and dating people that we don't ask in the beginning. And it's either because we don't understand, or we're afraid to ask, or we don't want to ask because it means they're going to ask us questions back and we might not want to answer. There's a lot of conversation that's not had. And in the midst of all of these conversations that I'm blessed to have with you guys, I'm realizing that the it travels down from in every family. There's so many conversations that are not had in every single family that doesn't prepare, especially the young girls and the young women who to go out in the world. It's really all, if you come from like a Christian or a biblical background, then it's don't have sex before marriage, all that kind of stuff, right? And if you come from parents who are just careful about that, it's certain things, use condoms and things like that. But we don't actually have conversations about how to go about dating. We don't have conversations about, hey, it's okay to date around, not sleep around, but it's okay for you to, go out and have multiple dates. The first guy that shows you attention, you don't have to automatically commit to that person. And I think that if our parents and their parents and the generations before didn't keep so many secrets, it wouldn't have us set up for some of the failures that we're set up for, because then you're relying on your peers, and at certain ages your peers, even at this age, a lot of people's peers don't know what they need to be talking about. They just
Oh,
be talking.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many things that well, I'm mentioning in my book now, but I'm like, I wish that I had this book to tell me just certain things like you are normal, this is valid, it's not just you, this happens, and it's taboo topics, that people don't want to talk about. It's like you have to talk about these things because they're not going to go away. There's a concept that I mentioned in my book that will make people very uncomfortable, like I mentioned to you. But I wanted to mention it, the unsolicited pick. Like, it's not just you that gets it at 2 o'clock in the morning. I mentioned that, and I'm like, it's not just you. And what to do about it if you get it, because it's disrespectful. But as a young woman, you receive those things and you don't know what to do because it's an embarrassing topic. Do you tell your mom? How do you handle this? So in my book, I discuss what is appropriate, what's not, and how to handle it because it's disrespecting you. It's not normal, and set your boundaries.
That is so true. That's so it. We don't know a lot of times stepping out into the edge of the adult world, what disrespect actually is. A lot of times, like you said, you think it's flattery. The stalking, you think is flattery. The multiple, hey, where are you? I'm here. Da, 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 all these text messages, you think it's flattery because you don't know that that's unhealthy.
It's not normal.
It's not normal. And because depending on what your background was, how secure, insecure, secure, confident, or low confident you were, when you start getting that attention, you're just like, oh my gosh, somebody is actually paying attention to me, and they look good, and they're charming. What could be wrong with this? 15 missed calls. Oh, you really want to talk to me that much? And we just miss so much. And I really believe that our generation, I love that you're starting this book. I really believe that our generation has the power and ability to change what's going to happen for the generation after us if all of us can continue to collectively bring the conversations to the table and be open, vulnerable, and transparent about our own experiences so that we can say, hey, like you said, you're not alone. This is not normal. This is what I've been through, but you don't have to go through it.
Exactly. Exactly. And like for me, I think I was very happy-go-lucky when I was younger. I mean, when I met him, airy, viewed life to rose into glasses. Yes, I had traumas that had happened to me, but in the dating world, very happy-go-lucky. And I I didn't really commit because I hadn't found the one. Not saying that I didn't commit in a way that I slept around and stuff like that. No, I just didn't commit until I knew that they were the one. And this is also another topic that I discuss in my book. Like, it's okay to test drive the car and not buy it. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, as women, we are sometimes labeled if we do that. She is this or she is that. No, why are my rights different to the man? Like, how come a man could go on multiple dates and decide, do I want to date her or not? Like, why can't we do that? So that's what I was like when I was younger. I was just very happy-go-lucky. I would go on dates, and I was just testing the waters. But now when he came into the picture, he drew me in as well because he was a very powerful businessman. Businessman is what I thought. He wasn't a businessman. He was a trust fund baby.
So he came to South Africa on a business trip, flashing the wallet. And here you are thinking, oh wow, he's got it all together. He's done his due diligence. He's made a name for himself. Look at what he's doing.
Yeah.
But the whole time,
I only found out that he was a trust fund baby actually going through this divorce. I was kept in the dark about so many things. Like, I will get into that like later on because I don't want to jump the gun. But I was literally like a mushroom, kept in the dark and fed on.
okay, okay, we gonna keep it going. It's a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot. I gotta give my people time to breathe, Jess.
Sorry, yeah, no.
It's okay.
It is a lot to what bothers me is that I was I like to view myself as I was just a little girl. You know, I was just a little girl. I was young. I shouldn't have been exposed to this nastiness, this evil from so young. Like, I should have lived my life a bit more. But I was thrown into the deep end and I had to grow up very quickly. I
And
mean,
you didn't know.
I had no
You
idea.
They're really good at hiding it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Did your parents ever meet him?
So funny, my mom is also very happy-go-lucky and she was like, oh, she's nice. My dad did not like him.
Did he tell you why he didn't like him?
He said there's something off with him. There's something really off, and I can't tell you how to live your life because you need to make these mistakes because that's the only way you'll learn from it. If I stop you from doing something, you're never going to learn from this and you're going to make that same mistake because it's meant for you, but later on in life.
Man, let me tell y'all something. If you are blessed to have one parent or both parents in your life who are sober, who are mentally stable, who aren't abusive or controlling or manipulative, and they offer advice, and that advice ever has to do with somebody that you're interested in, and they're like, something ain't right, then something's not right. Like, it never fails. They can see beyond what we can see, and we're looking through our emotions. You're looking through your emotions, and your parents are like, listen, my child, they are not right. There is I can't tell you what it is, but I would rather you not have to experience it and find out just how bad it is and just take me on my word. But we always like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Y'all, if you're listening and you're young, and or you don't have to be young, because your parents can see a lot of things. We make mistakes. Even people make mistakes in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s because they haven't had those healthy conversations, those open conversations. And if you have a parent who is sound mind and they're telling you, hey, this person is, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It can be a friendship, because not all people come around are here to be your friend. They're here to sometimes just take things from you or share their misery with you. I just want you to heed your parents, heed their words, because I believe that if Jess and myself would have both done that, a whole lot of stuff would have been avoided.
Like my dad said, he said, you need to learn because this lesson is meant for you. Otherwise, it will show itself later on in life. So I agree that you should listen to your parents and analyze and be like, okay, this is the information I'm given. But however, if that lesson is yours, you will learn it one way or another because it's meant for you.
That's true. But I think there's also the opportunity for you to learn that lessons through someone else's experience.
Yeah, like not up as badly as what I did.
We don't got to be the guinea pigs, Jess. As you and I both know, there are plenty of other people we can learn from.
But just, yeah, please learn from my mistakes. That's why I'm writing this book.
That's it. You can learn the lesson, but you don't have to go through it. You don't have to go through the mess to get the
I
message.
totally agree with that. Amen.
So, child, okay. So the parents met him. Mom was like you, just free spirit. Charming got her. Dad is like, no, I know you're going to do what you're going to do, but let it be known
Yeah, my dad was like, there's
that I
something.
said,
My dad even swore. He said there's something wrong. Yeah.
oh man. Oh yeah.
I was like, Dad, it's fine. And, you know, he was like, no, Jason, there's something wrong with this dude.
Dang. Oh yeah. Dad knew. Dad really knew. He looked all past that little charm. Okay.
And at this point, I was, let's say, semi-brainwashed already.
Oh, absolutely.
He had moved into my house. I mean, I had spent every day with him. I was already brainwashed by the time he met my parents. So I was like, no hope for me. Even if my dad did tell me that, and let's say a little bit of me was left there, I, I was long gone. I was so brainwashed. So there was no hope.
How long was it before, like, how long was it that he moved in before he met your parents?
Um, Trying to think of the timeline. Like 2 months? Yeah.
Okay. So he's in there. He met your parents. He stays 6 months in South Africa
Yeah, well,
on
he
your
didn't
sofa.
stay 6 months because after that, with any visa, it's 6 months for most places, and then you got to leave the country. Otherwise, you'll just, yeah, you overstay your welcome. So that's why when his 6 months were coming up, that's when he asked me to come to the States with him because he
And what
didn't
did you do?
want it to end. And obviously, me being brainwashed already in love, and well, that's what I thought was love, said absolutely. But what I did was, I said to him, there was a little bit of me left because I said to him, I cannot go because I have to work. I had got myself into a lot of debt through shopping, because I got a credit card very young because I started working from very young and I became a manager at the age of 19. So I got a credit card young and I got myself into a bit of debt. Now, this was also what I want people to be aware of. A tool, a tactic that they use is money. They will often gift you money, gift you things as a form of control. So now what he said to me was, come with me to the States. I will pay off your debt. I will look after you while you're in the States on holiday, and you don't even have to worry about anything. So take leave from work, and I have got you. This sounds like a dream to me. I'm like, my debt's getting paid off. I'm going on a holiday to the USA. This is incredible. Like, I would love to, but little did I know in the future, the money would be held over my head. Well, I did this for you. I paid this much money for you. And he used it as well as a power tool because he knew me coming to the States with no money because it's 20 to 1 from rands. So your dollar's a lot more powerful than our rand. He knew that I would be totally reliant on him. I wouldn't know anyone, be totally reliant on him for money, would owe him because now he's paid off my debt. Like, do you see how he put he created this perfect situation for him as a narcissist, as an abuser. It was perfect for him.
One thing they're going to do is isolate you, but do it in such a tactful way that you don't realize it's isolation happening. Because you just said it wasn't just, oh, come to the United States with me and you like just upping and packing the rest of your life. It's come to the United States on holiday. Just come spend a little time with me, hang out for a couple of weeks or so, and then you can go back. You can get back to work and do your thing. And that was the set. Did your parents know when you left that you were leaving to go to the US?
I came to the US with one suitcase. One suitcase. We all had no idea. I mean, please can I just tell you, the shoe and bag collection that I had back home.
You go open your own boutique.
For every bag, there was the matching pair of shoes. I left it all behind because I thought I was going home. I thought I was going back. So we all had no idea that as soon as he got me here, he would isolate me, control me, ask me to marry him so quickly while I was in that honeymoon stage, rose tinted glasses where I wouldn't realize what's going on and then lock me in. So,
Before we get into that part of the conversation, I want to go back to something that you said earlier. You said that you had been through trauma and experienced trauma younger in your life. What was that trauma that you went through?
in South Africa, I was brutally raped.
How old were you?
I was 21.
So this is right before Homeboy.
Yes. That's why I withdrew a lot and I was very much to myself. And that's why I said I wasn't dating. But then he came into the picture and he was larger than life personality, charming. I thought like, wow, this must be my soulmate. I thought like finally life is being good to me. I'm it's they giving me my soulmate. I'm gonna be in love. I'm gonna get married. Just because after that really traumatic thing happened with me, it was very hard for me to come back from that and trust a man again.
And
So
so Homeboy, he came in taking his time, well, not moving in part, but taking his time to approach you, giving you all the good feels that you want, and you felt like he was a safe space.
exactly. And when I spoke to him about, when you open up to someone and you first like, he was exactly like I mentioned, mirroring like things that I was saying and relating to me with his trauma. I don't even know still if it's true, if it's not, but trying to relate to me. That made me trust him more because I was like, wow, he understands.
So what trauma was he trying to relate to you with?
Just, I don't want to say too much, but basically that he's had a very tough life. Later for me to find out that he has been raised with a silver spoon, trust fund baby, um, went to one of the most expensive universities in the States. Hard life? No.
So he painted a picture to you that he came up from the ground and now he's this wealthy businessman just like running things, and I've paid my dues. I know how to make this life work, and I'm just here, boo, for you, grow my business, we can love on each other and all the good things.
Yes, he created a perfect picture. And I think as well, because I had gone through this trauma, that maybe I was a bit more vulnerable, you know? And it was, I was an easy target. So I, very unfortunate. And I did recover from that through a lot of therapy. And yeah, I mean, I still struggle to talk about it just because I after that happened, I was very suicidal. I didn't want to live. However, I did it in a very different way. I didn't try. Yes, there were attempts where I tried to kill myself, but after that, I was self-sabotaging. I was participating in very risky behavior, drinking a lot, being putting myself in dangerous situations where you possibly could die, where any person who wasn't suicidal wouldn't have put themselves in that situation and say, like, that's danger. I shouldn't do that. But I didn't care because I felt so hurt. Now, by the time I met him, I was healed, semi. So I wasn't doing any of that stuff anymore. I was very much saying, going to bed, not doing that stuff. But vulnerable, yes, I was still very vulnerable.
And I can't speak on whether or not it is true, but in my conversations and what I've been reading and just in my personal experiences, that could have made you more vulnerable, but you were vulnerable already because of the person that you are, the character that you are, and the light that you give off. Your energy, our empathy, our wanting to be bubbly and joyful and to help others and to be there for others and to love others and be loved is what attracts them to us. Like I've said it plenty of times before, we're like the host and they're the parasite. And the parasite is going to look for a host that's not too strong. Like, we don't want you to have a weak immune system, where you're just run down, but we don't want you to be really confident in who you are and strong. And so I think they see the energy that you have and they want it, but they don't know how to tap into their own. So they're going to suck yours out.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally, totally agree. I do think it's hard because for a long time I did believe I loved him. I've only now going through everything and because he was an addict, during our whole marriage he was using and he only stopped using now. Like now that we're separated, which was really hurtful to me because all I wanted was for him to stop using. And I would often think to myself, if he wasn't an addict, would we maybe be happy? Would we maybe be together? Then the things he's putting me through now, like during this divorce, he's sober and he's still terrorizing me. I had a cyber attack about 2 days ago from him. Yeah, I had a cyber attack. It was terrible, and I'll tell you why it was terrible. The cyber attack that he did on me, it was he got into my drive. Now, part of my drive is my life coaching notes. For every client I have, they have a portfolio in my drive. He hacked into people's personal evaluations. Like to me, that was the most devastating part. It wasn't even the fact that he looked at my legal documents that I was preparing for court, that he looked at my photos, that he linked my Google photos to my drive. I didn't even know I had Google Photos. He activated it. So all my photos were uploading to the drive. He created a family account with the Google Drives that he could access all my accounts under one. It was the fact that he accessed my clients' evaluations, my clients' summaries, their notes, because that's personal. And there's no way to prove it was him, unfortunately, because I can't. I don't know what his IP address is, but I think to myself, who else would it be? Who else would want to hack into my stuff and look at legal documents and just invade my space? There's no one else it could be. So,
How could you tell that he had went through the client files, that he went through the photos, that he went through the legal documents? What was the evidence?
so basically, when I pulled up my drive, I was in a long meeting with my ghostwriter for like 3 hours. And in my drive, it says you open this at that certain time. Now, all the documents that were open during this time, I was in a meeting. It was not me. Then I went into my desktop and saw Microsoft saying this document had been downloaded to desktop. Now, all the things that I've downloaded to desktop says downloaded to Jessica's desktop. Now, the things that he was downloading was just downloaded to desktop because it's a foreign computer. So then I went deeper and I went into Google Data where you can download your data, and it like logged into all my accounts for different IP addresses at different locations, as well as my emails were getting deleted. So I had to download something. I'll tell you what it's called now. It's called Thunderbird. So Thunderbird has the ability, so part of this data downloading, I downloaded the emails, all emails I've ever had. And Thunderbird allows you to upload those documents in there where you can see everything, deleted, sent, blah, blah, blah. And I found so many emails that had been deleted, but they were access codes. Like he logged into my Slack. It was all these authentications. It was all deleted that I would have never have known about. So it was just really and such an invasion of privacy, and it was a horrible, horrible thing because it made me feel like, what could have I have done to prevent this? But I never saw it coming.
They just don't care. They'll do anything that they're capable of doing as long as it does something, it has a negative impact on you.
Mm.
When
No, that's
they're rubbed the wrong way, they throw an adult temper tantrum, and that adult temper tantrum can look like anything in this world.
his was a bit scarier than a temper tantrum because the things that he was downloading and hacking into were it was just I don't know what he's up to, but it's not normal behavior. So it's not a temper tantrum. His was thought out, evil, and I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm like, what is happening next? Because he's hacked into these things, and what is happening next? What is he going to do with this information?
Because you know it's a next coming.
There's a next. There's always a next.
There's always a next.
So
He moves you, he convinces you to come to the US, and you're here with one suitcase. In your mind, how long did you first, before I even ask that, did he buy your plane ticket or did you pay for yourself to come?
he bought my plane ticket. Yeah. I thought I was only going to be here for like 4 months. It was going to be like a long holiday because I was going to explore the States and really enjoy myself because I hadn't taken leave for a long time. Um, yeah, so I came with one suitcase. I thought I was gonna go like backpacking, enjoy myself. Well, literally within 2 months, boom, will you marry me? 2 months of me being here.
And up until that time, so now y'all have known each other for 8 months and everything has been nice. Everything has seemed good. Have
Um,
there been any signs other than what we discussed before about phone calls and the sleeping on your couch? Was there any other signs that made you feel like this isn't right? Or were you're still in the honeymoon phase, so were you still like, this is good, I'm safe, he's nice?
I
What
was
was
still
going
at the honeymoon stage. I wouldn't have even have known, seen it. There were signs, like his addiction. I wasn't aware of how bad it was. He was addicted to Xanax, alcohol, and cocaine. I did not know about the Xanax or the cocaine. The alcohol I was kind of aware about because he would do it in front of me and binge drink and behave in terrible ways, which I had a big problem about. But it it was all it all happened very fast. Like I thinking back, I think back to myself, pull me.
So when the alcohol was happening, the one thing that you did know about and you didn't like the behavior, did you ever have a conversation with him about it?
Oh, I would try.
How did they go?
It would go like either. So what happened was I ended up becoming an enabler because what was better that he did it behind my back because then he started doing it behind my back. Going to gas stations, getting drunk there, then arriving home drunk. But for me, it was like, what's better? That he does it at home and he's safe and he's not risking somebody else's life, drunk driving, or it was like a double-edged sword. So it was really hard. And then I became an enabler where when he wanted to drink, I let him do it at home because I didn't want him going out till all hours of the morning to bars, coming home 4 o'clock in the morning, drunk driving. I'll never forget the one day he arrived home at like four, no, it was like 4:30 in the morning, and he stumbled into the house drunk, and he was mumbling and said, "Blah, blah, blah." So I said, "What are you saying?" He's saying, "No, my car is." He was basically saying that mumbling. So I said, "What do you mean?" So he said, "I hit something." So I said, "What did you hit?" He was like hardly stringing a sentence together, but he said his windscreen is smashed. Now to me, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he's hit a person. Like he doesn't even know what he's hit. Now I run downstairs to the car. Windscreen is smashed, and there's a massive dent on the bumper. It looks like he's hit a person. We still don't know to this day what he hit. I can't hear you. Wait, hold on. Did my sound go?
No,
Oh,
I'm just,
it
I'm
went
just,
silent. Yeah, yeah,
I'm
we
just
still don't
stuck.
know. And to me, that's where, again, I was an enabler because I don't want something like that to happen again where he could harm someone because I don't know if he killed someone that night. He doesn't know if he killed someone that night.
So he just wakes up the next day and goes and takes his car to the shop.
Yeah, like nothing happened.
Okay.
The hardest part for me was his parents. They they knew what he was, but they didn't help me. They didn't support me. Do you know when he hit me, I reached out to his parents first before I went to the police. They try to sweep it under the rug. They try to pretend like it didn't happen.
Okay. So you're here. Y'all have known each other for 8 months now. He proposes to you. Does he become physically abusive with you before y'all get married or after?
Only after.
So once he proposes, you immediately accept, or do you say no and then he has to propose again or ask you to marry him?
I was in a love bubble. Like anything he could have said, I would have agreed to. Also, remember that he's created the perfect scenario that I am isolated. He has control with money. He is creating this perfect life for me. He's grooming me, and I know no one here. So he's literally all I have.
Does he even go like during the day? Because I know you said he's a trust fund baby. Did he even go anywhere to work during the day?
Try to have a few jobs, but obviously lost them because of his addiction. He
So
couldn't
he
keep.
wasn't even working.
He couldn't keep a job.
So homeboy pulled you all the way from South Africa to come to the United States to ask you to marry him, and he doesn't have a job. He just got drugs.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I must ask.
Right, but I have to backtrack because
Okay.
I didn't know about any of these things. To me, he's creating this perfect picture. Like he is perfect. I didn't know about the drugs, about the like anything. I was looking at this perfect guy in front of me. All of those dirty little secrets that he was keeping were hidden. They only came to the surface once we were married.
Yep.
So it's not like I was aware of this and I still married him. No, I had no idea. I kind of saw the drinking here and there, but these stories I'm telling you about drinking, it's once we were married. Isn't before. Like it got exponentially worse. Everything. Once I signed that paper.
Okay. So y'all didn't have a wedding. It was just more like a courthouse thing.
We had a backyard wedding.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a little backyard wedding because I didn't really he wanted this grand big wedding with all these people and I didn't want that because I said to him it's not about us. It's not about our love. It's about your social status. It it's not about me because the wedding should have to do with me too. I don't know anyone here. I don't want to attend a wedding where I know no one, but it's my wedding. So he eventually agreed, okay, yeah, we'll just have a backyard wedding with just like family and a few friends like that I'd met of his. And my mom flew out. My dad didn't fly out because he didn't support the marriage. He didn't even attend the wedding, so
Daddy's like, I ain't got no parts of it.
oh, yeah, he's
No
like,
dogs in this fight. Oh my
oh, yeah,
goodness.
he's like, absolutely not. I'm not attending this.
Oh man. Okay, so y'all get married. Y'all get married. Do y'all go on a honeymoon? Do y'all just have like a little private time at home? What happens?
We go on like a little honeymoon to like trying to think. I can't even think of the name, but it's in the country and we have a good time and whatever. It was actually really nice. And that's why I find it very difficult sometimes because I did have good moments with him. It wasn't all bad, so I can't paint this picture like it was all bad every single moment. Like, no. That is the problem, is that it was also good. So I have to stop myself sometimes when I'm in my own thoughts thinking, you know, was he really that bad? And I think about all the good times and I basically glorify them, but then I gotta stop and be like, no, 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 you're not thinking about the bad. There were a lot of bad things.
There are a lot of times people grow up and they get advice again from peers, from people who just don't have the mental, emotional maturity. And you'll be in a relationship and you feel that it's not right. And so you ask somebody for their advice, and the advice is, well, just take out a piece of paper, write down all the things that are good, write down all the things that are bad, if the good outweighs the bad. And they do this whole bullcrap thing. But the thing is, you're saying something that is so important. And I ask these questions because I want people to understand that meeting these guys or these women, they're they're great in the beginning. And then they sprinkle happiness throughout the foolishness. So it's always like a roller coaster with them. And it's done so methodically that when things are bad, or if they are ever pretending to be remorseful, in that pretend to be remorseful, they're going to say, well, don't you remember, we have good memories. We can still have some good times, and we can work through this stuff right here. And so I ask those questions because I want people to understand that it's not always bad, and that even though the outcome is bad, the person has the person creates good moments.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the hardest part. It makes it more difficult because you kind of wish that they weren't good sometimes, because then it wouldn't hurt as much. And then it wouldn't confuse you as much as to how this person who was meant to love me as much as what they said they did could do this to me. But for me, it's after the fact, like I said, that he's sober now, that we're getting a divorce, and he's still coming after me. That to me is clarity.
It's because the alcohol and the drugs, they don't necessarily turn people into different people. They just bring out the part of them that they've been hiding, that they've been able to
Exactly.
control and keep hidden. And it's not surprising. Like you said, the sucky part is, oh, now you want to be sober, but at least you see, sober or not, you still ridiculous. You're still raggedy.
Yeah,
You still
yeah.
do foolishness.
Sober or not, like you should still for the hills.
No parts of it. No parts
And
need to be had.
that's the most concerning part for me, is that I'm concerned for the next woman. I'm concerned about him doing this whole thing all over again and doing it to the next woman. And I wouldn't blame her for falling for it because I fell for it. And they're just so clever the way they do it, and you don't see it coming. They really play on your heartstrings and they really try to relate to you and just become this perfect person to you. To be honest, I actually told my one friend once, I said they create like a godlike image in your head that you cannot live without them. You cannot breathe without them. You need them, but they do this over time. It's not instant, because what they do is they will bring you down and you will be broken lying on the floor, but they will be the one to pick you up and make it better. And then they'll bring you down and then they'll put you up on a pedestal. So do you see how the manipulation is coming in, where you cannot breathe without them, because when you're down and gutted, who's going to come save you? It's going to be them, even though they are the ones that put you in that position in the first place.
All of those things are true. Okay, so you guys are married
Yeah.
and you go into this beautiful honeymoon, nice little getaway. How long, once you get back home, before the shoe drops and you start to see this other side that is now attacking you?
I'll tell you when it first started. So for a while, I couldn't work because I don't have a citizenship. I don't have a green card. I don't have a work permit. So I was very much a stay-at-home wife. So while I was a stay-at-home wife, things were actually fine because he had the power. I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was doing what I was told because I was dependent on him. Now, the moment my work permit came through and I could work, that's when everything changed. Because I started to get out there. I started to make friends. I started to earn my own money, and I wasn't under his control anymore. I didn't have to ask his permission for something. I could just buy it with my own money. That's when things started going terribly south because he wasn't in control anymore.
So what did terribly south look like? Like what was the first thing that you can remember once you got that peak of freedom to make your own money, make your own friends, to have a life outside of his solar system? What was he doing?
I'll never forget, I there was a coworker of mine. I'm just gonna call her Susan. And it was I actually became a general manager of a restaurant while I was here. So that was my first job. And she was the general manager of the other branch. And she at the time I was still training, so I was working with her and she was training me in this restaurant. And we finished at like 12, no, at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And my house was right down the street from where we were working. And I said to her, would you like to come over for a glass of wine? And like we get to know each other. And she said, oh, I'd love to. Well, let me tell you, she was a very strong woman. And she was very, like, she knew the difference between right and wrong. Like she didn't keep her mouth shut. And my soon to be ex-husband was there. Now, he started degrading me in front of her when she was there. Started undermining me, degrading me, because he didn't like the fact that I had a friend. So he was trying to make me look bad to her so that I wouldn't have a friend.
What would he do? Like what would he say?
Um, just like mock my intelligence, say like, I don't even know how she got this job. She's not even skilled. Like make it to her that she shouldn't be around me and she shouldn't be my friend. And just really degrading me. And she knew what was going on. She actually got up in the middle of everything. And because while we were in the middle of the conversation, I'll tell you, she was sitting on the couch and I was there and we're talking. He shouted at me, go do the dishes while I had a guest in the house. Well, like doing that sort of thing, and she got up in the middle of everything and she said to me, I have to leave because if I do not, there might be a murder in this house. Because she just didn't agree with how he was speaking to me, like it's not okay. And she never came back to my house because she literally said to me, the way he is speaking to you is not okay. And you need to see that. I had never heard of something called VAWA, Violence Against Women's Act. The first time I had heard of it was from her, this coworker. She sent me an article basically saying that I have rights as an immigrant. This is while he was talking down to me, he'd push me around, throw chairs at me, like throw Amazon packages at me, try hurt my dogs, but he had never raised a hand to me. Now, keep in mind, no matter what he was doing, he's 6'3". I'm 5'2". I like to say I'm 5'3" to make myself feel better, but actually I'm 5'2". He weighs 230 pounds. I weigh 108. So while he's doing all these things, pushing me around and throwing things at me, he is literally so much bigger than me. So that's why, like, when he finally hit me, raised his hand to me, I went down with a bang because he's that much bigger than me. And he meant for it to hurt.
One thing's for sure, they never do it and not mean for it to hurt.
Oh, and I know he meant for it to hurt because while I was lying on the floor, like basically unconscious, he then proceeded to spit on me. So,
And what brought that on? Do you remember what happened?
so a lot of these fights that he would have with me, the big ones, where he would throw things at me, or even that night when he really hit me hard, um, it would always be after the fact. It would either be me coming home from work or me working in my office. Um, there was something about this, there was something about me with work that really triggered him, that made him angry. That I think it was because when he associated work with me, it was him losing control. And anything to do with me and work just made him really angry. So there was nothing in particular that made him hit me. It was that he had relapsed again, and I got home from work at like early hours in the morning because I was obviously working in restaurants, and he was drunk out of his mind. And I said to him, "Have you been drinking?" He said, shut up, shut up." I said to him, "My love, my sweetie, I'm not going to be upset with you. I need to know if you've been drinking because I need to know how to position you when you sleep." Because this wasn't like the first rodeo for me. I mean, like I had to really learn, okay, when he goes to sleep, he has to lie on his side. He can't lie on his back because he could choke on his own vomit. I had to learn like all these things that basically there's so many things that could go wrong when you're really, really drunk. Like you can bite your own tongue and choke on your own tongue. Like it's like really, there's so many things. So I had to know if he was really drunk or what he had done so that I could know if he would be in trouble. So I could know, okay, you cannot have a good night's rest tonight. You need to be like semi-awake because you don't know what could happen to him. So it was not even that I questioned him because I wanted to be angry with him. I needed to know for safety reasons, you know? And the tablet that he was on, it's called naltrexone. Have you heard of it? So basically, naltrexone, it causes liver failure if you drink. It's meant to stop you craving alcohol, but too much alcohol on it can cause liver failure. It just works that way. It's meant to make you violently ill if you drink. And he was taking that medication amongst other medications because there were issues. And I need to know if he was drinking because he's on naltrexone. I need to be aware. Is he, like there's so many things that could go wrong. Well, he told me to shut up, and I said to my love, my sweetie, I'm not going to be upset with you. I didn't know. He said, up. Like, but he couldn't even string a sentence together. And I said, "My love, please just tell me because I don't know what's going on." And he said, "You shut the up now." And he just hit me. I didn't even see it coming. It happened so quickly. Like, he went for me. I didn't antagonize him. I didn't try to get in his face, I didn't raise my voice to him. I did everything by the book. And he it was like, do you know when like a dog just attacks, but it's like a dog that is a bit aggressive, but you're like, no, the dog wouldn't do it. Like I've trained him, he doesn't do that, but then he just goes for you and you like don't see it coming. To be honest, I didn't see it coming because I knew he was a bit dangerous. I knew like don't poke the bear. I knew all these things, but I never thought he would actually raise his hand to me and hit me that hard, or just hit me at all. I'd been pushed, I'd been shoved, I've been things thrown at me, but physically, like hit, never. I just didn't see it coming.
So what did you do after he knocked you to the floor?
So this is advice that I can give is that do not retaliate. I didn't retaliate. I lay there like semi-unconscious. I lay there for a while because I was basically unconscious. I do recall him spitting on me, and he walked up to the bedroom and went to bed like nothing happened. I gathered my thoughts together. I went outside and I smoked a cigarette because at the time I was a smoker. And I'm not with him. I stopped smoking. I'm just putting that out there. But at the time, I was a smoker, so I went and had a cigarette. Now, to me, I was in a really dangerous situation because I am alone in a foreign country. I don't really have friends. I have coworkers, but nobody who I can trust and be like, can I run away and come stay with you? Yeah, like, I had to be very calm about it. I couldn't shoot from the hip. That's why I did not call the police until like a week later because I needed to figure out what to do. I needed to do my research and be like, are there shelters? Uh, what are the next steps? If he goes to jail, how do I pay rent alone? Like what is going to happen? So I really thought things through before I shot from the hip. Um, And actually, the court was very fair to me because they convicted him, and they said like they understand why I waited a week because he tried to fight that and said if it was really that bad, would she not have waited a week? Would she not have taken photos? Now, keep in mind that I didn't take photos of my black eye when it first happened because I was in shock for first of all, and second of all, I didn't want him to see the photos.
Because he goes through your phone, right?
I didn't know. I didn't know if he did. I didn't know. I didn't know. But I was like, I cannot have photos of my phone because he will think something's happening and he might harm me more. I just gotta pretend like nothing's happening.
So
And
before you get to the police, he
yeah,
goes up to the bedroom. He's passed out. You're outside smoking. What happens the next day? What is the energy? What's the environment? What's his demeanor?
like nothing happened.
So he just wakes up and is like, "Hey, you want some breakfast?"
Yeah, like nothing happened. You know, um, I I didn't play along with it. I made it very clear to him that it's not okay what you did. You hit me, and you're lucky I didn't call the police. This was actually before I called the police. And I have a message between him and I with him saying, if you fucking dare call the police, don't you ever call the police. So now he's appealing this conviction. And yet he said those things. Like, I also have messages with him admitting to hitting me. Him saying, I'm so sorry, it will never happen again. But then with him appealing it, I never hit her.
Okay, so you called the police, and earlier you said that you had called his parents. Is this the incident where you called his mom?
So I called his parents, not the next day, because I called them like 2 days later or 3 days later. And I said to her, something really unfortunate happened. Jack hit me. She was in denial. Oh, probably nothing that bad. Like, did he really like hit you, or did you guys just get into it? And she was questioning me. And I said, no, so and so. He hit me. And she said, well, whatever is going on between you two, I'm sure you'll work it out. Now, to me, that's a woman. I reached out to a woman. Like, I need help. This is your son. Now, please, can I tell you? If I have a son, his wife reaches out to me and says, "Your son hit me." I'll be like, "Where is the belt? I will beat this boy." Like, absolutely not. I will put him in his place. If she doesn't call the cops, I might. Because that's not a way to behave. You don't behave like that. She was just nonchalant about it. You'll figure it out. I don't think he really hit you. Grandma, he hit me. So for me, that's where the pattern starts because I mean, not even just with this, before he hit me, he has pending felony cases. Yeah. Yeah.
Pending, and you said cases with an S?
Cases, yeah. Pending felony cases. For assaulting police officers.
On
Now,
multiple occasions.
no, because he assaulted like 3 police officers.
On the same occasion.
Yeah, so he has like 3 assaulting 3 different police officers, and he has public intoxication. He also has there was another one, but those were misdemeanors, so they got dismissed. But he has pending felony cases now.
Were all of these things, did they happen before you came to the United States?
No, no. So this happened now while we were married. He got these pending felony cases. He actually got it while I was at work. He got really drunk and tried to beat up the neighbor. And
Wait a minute. No, ma'am. That's another speed bump.
yeah,
Hold
no,
on.
it's bad. Yeah.
A male neighbor?
Yes, yes.
What what was the story that you heard?
So basically what I heard, and I still don't know the full story because again, I am a mushroom, left in the dark and fed on shit. But anyway, from what I could tell from the Ring doorbell, because I had the Ring doorbell and all this was happening outside in the Ring doorbell, the neighbor didn't like him because the neighbor had heard him raise his voice to me a lot, had heard me not yell, well, not screaming, but saying, "Please stop, you're hurting me, please stop," when he was pushing me around. The neighbor was very much aware of this, so he didn't like my soon-to-be ex-husband regardless. And my soon-to-be ex-husband was being rowdy and loud, and the neighbor came out and said, "You need to stop. Like, it's late at night. My kids have school tomorrow. Like, you gotta stop." And then he just tried to beat up the neighbor. So the neighbor called the cops, said he's behaving badly. And when the cops came, I mean, I watched the body cam footage of how nice the cops were to him. They went down to his level because he was lying on the floor. He didn't want to talk to them. He was being aggressive. They went down to his level and they said, "We don't know what's going on, but we can see something's really wrong. We want to help you. Please allow us to help you." And then he just went for them. So it's not like the police did anything wrong. It's not like the police antagonized him. They were being really nice. They did everything right. And I got a call while I was at work. "Your husband's been arrested." I was like, why am I surprised? Like honestly. So off I got in my car, got home, cops questioned me, said, "Do you know what drugs he was using?" And at this point, I didn't know. I honestly had no idea. I said, "I don't know. I don't, I don't know." I said, "I do know he drinks, but I don't know about the drug part." And they kind of came to their own conclusions, and he went to jail that night. He got a bail of, I know the one was $15,000. And I think the other one was like 30. It was like a lot of money. He got a bail. the next day, and his parents got him the most expensive attorneys in the States. I actually think it's in the States. They're the best criminal attorneys and the most expensive. Their advice was go straight to rehab because then the judge might be less harsh. So go straight to rehab. So he goes straight to rehab literally within like 3 days. Now keep in mind that he has destroyed the apartment. I mean, there's photos that I upload on Facebook when people are like, what? He's ripped the railing off the wall, smashed alcohol bottles all throughout the house, broke through the front door to try and get to the neighbor because his friends were with him at this time and they were trying to keep him inside the house. And they were restraining him, saying, no, no, no. So they shut the door and he broke through the front door to try and get to the neighbor to hurt him. And the house was in shambles. My poor dogs. I mean, they were shivering and shaking. They had already been like exposed to his abuse, you know, like I mentioned, he would come home drunk and I would zip tie the dogs in their crate so that he couldn't get to them and hurt them, you know, because he would just want to hurt the dogs for no reason. But anyway, like he went straight to rehab, left me to pick up the pieces. I got a notice from the landlord, you have 1 month to get out or you're getting evicted. I'm like, this is a courtesy thing because I know that you weren't involved, so it's not fair that you get evicted when you were never there and you're not involved, but you have 1 month. In that 1 month, I had to pack up the house, find a new house, get into the new house, and fix up the old house by myself while still maintaining a full-time job. It was, and like the worst part for me was his parents did not help me. His parents did not hold him accountable for what he did. They were just so obsessed about sweeping on the rug, sweep on the rug, sweep on the rug. So that's why when he hit me and they reacted this way, I shouldn't have been surprised. Because they did the same with his families. They just want to pretend like it didn't happen. You know, and to me, that's borderline child abuse because it's not teaching your child ethics, morals, you know, like what accountability is. It's just like a child having a tantrum and rewarding them for it. Well done on your tantrum. Here's a sucker. Like whatever he was doing, there was just like, no, this is wrong. You don't behave like this. This isn't the way I raised you. So for me, that was the hardest part. And the hardest part as well, it was just the way his parents didn't help me. You know, do you know what it ended up happening? My mother got on a plane, flew here, and helped me.
Your mother packed up from South Africa, flew to the United States to help you move and fix the mess that he caused, clean up the mess that he caused while he's in rehab.
Yes, yet his parents are here. They live down the road from me.
Did his parents ever, before any of the abuse was brought to their attention, how were they treating you? Did they pretend like they liked you? Were they kind of standoffish?
They were happy that they were no longer the babysitter.
You could sense that?
Yeah. That there was a new person that's taken on the role of looking after him. It's no longer their problem. They almost viewed me as, yay, she's gonna deal with all the shit now. It's no longer our problem, you know? And I'm just still like very upset about them not helping. You know, for example, moving into this new house, I had to put a deposit down. I had to pay the rent myself. I had to pay for the movers. They didn't help. Keep in mind as well that they're very, very wealthy people. They just allowed me to struggle, to clean up their son's mess, to pay for it all myself when it wasn't even my doing. None of it was my fault. So it was just a horrible, horrible situation. I mean, the dad was very level-headed. His dad would often say, like, he needs to get arrested. That's the only way he's gonna learn. But it's the mother who would make excuses for him, sweep it under the rug. I get there's like a unconditional love thing, mama bear, but it's like you're not teaching your child any accountability or how to be a man. And they are still doing this shit for him. I mean, so you will laugh at this. With this divorce case that's going on, they've paid for him to have 3 attorneys. 3. I have just me. I'm self-representing.
Also, that he can get half of whatever he wants from you. Like, what is he even fighting in this divorce?
Basically, he wants me to change my last name back to my maiden name. Legally. Now, I cannot do that because my immigration papers are linked to his last name, because that's how I got registered here as a citizen, with his last name. So I cannot change my last name back to my maiden name. He's determined it needs to be back to my maiden name because, first of all, whenever I post things about the domestic violence, about anything, without mentioning his name, you just link the last name and it's him. Like where we live, it's a small town. It's him. Second of all, he wants to expose me because, and I'm saying expose me, because when everything went down after he hit me, I needed a way to earn quick money. I needed a way to survive, to feed myself. And I started an OnlyFans. Now, this made him so angry because how dare I? He was already a very jealous person. Like, I was not allowed to post certain things. I was not allowed to do things, wear this, wear that. So the fact that now I've kicked him out the house and I've started an OnlyFans, this made his blood boil because no, it's not on in his eyes. And he was like, I'm going to expose you. I'm going to tell everyone what you are, because I made a fake name to protect myself so that I could still have a normal job, still life coach, still.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
If you went under a fake name, how does he even know about the page?
exactly. I'm saying he terrorizes me. I don't know how he finds out these things. Just backstory. I later find out months later, like only at like, I think this was like 2 months ago, I found out my iCloud was syncing with his. I did not know this whole time. And I thought it was strange because I kept getting all these new contacts, like names I've never seen before. I was like, who is this now? Then I downloaded the data from iCloud and it was syncing with his phone.
Did you check and make sure he didn't trace your phone
I
with
don't
the
know.
location services?
To be honest, I'm still working on that. There's still so much I need to go into. I'm working with a cyber specialist. Um, so they deal with that. But even so, it's very hard to prove,
But your
because
location services are turned off.
no, I have my location on because I need it on. I mean, I need to find friends to find my phone in case it gets stolen. Like, I need to have all that stuff. Um, he, I think, already knows where I live, even though I had to leave our old house like urgently because he was stalking me. I have a protection order against him, but he was like stalking me, and I quickly had to get out of that house because I just wasn't feeling safe. I think he already knows where I live. It's just like I have cameras all around the house, and on the side of the house, just coincidental, but well, it's not just coincidental. Well, yeah, no, it is. But my office, okay, let's say I'm facing here. The window is like right there. So when I'm looking out the window, if I'm daydreaming, I can see cars driving up and down. Now his car has a sticker on the back, an Ohio sticker, exactly on the left bottom corner. His car drives by, same color, same dents, because his dent's still there in the hood, a tiny dent. It's not like big like it was, but it's still there. And the car drives past, and I see the sticker, and I thought, no way. So I go into the camera, and I backtrack, and it's his fucking car. I took screenshots. I sent it to the probation officer. Well, not the probation officer. The
Parole
prosecutor.
officer. Okay.
Yeah, the prosecutor who deals with the probation officer. And I'm like, he found out where I live. Like, surely this is breaking his probation. He's not allowed to do this. So they're dealing with that. But yeah, he figured out where I live.
So,
And
so for clarification purposes, after he hits you, you call his mom a couple of days later. Then the following week, you call the police to notify the police. He gets arrested and charged and convicted, and then you're done with the marriage. It just takes the one time, and you're like, this is not going to be it. This is not
well,
going.
I actually have to tell you this part because this is really powerful for any woman that need advice in going to court with this stuff. But basically, we went to court, like we're in and out of court constantly. And the day came where I had to go up to trial and they questioned me. Now, his lawyer tried to nail me. So during the time that he was trying to be sober, I still had like wine in the house, but like in the top cupboard, for like if I wanted a glass. Because I thought it's not fair. Like, yes, I could have supported him more, but at this point I was so sick and tired of him. I was like, why should I change more of my life? So I kind of just lived my life. And his lawyer tried to nail me. He was like, do you think it was a good environment for Mr. Tingley to be in while you were drinking? So you know what I said? Absolutely not. It was wrong of me. I shouldn't have done that. So everything that he was questioning me about and accusing me of, I was admitting to. I wasn't lying because first of all, I was under oath. And I didn't lie about anything. I admitted to everything and I had accountability for everything. Now, the more the more he was questioning me and the more I was agreeing to it and admitting I was wrong, this was a bald guy, his lawyer. His head was going red because he wasn't getting his points across because he wanted to cash me. He wanted me to lie under oath and I didn't. And by the end of it, they try to question my citizenship, saying, did you do this to manipulate the system to become a citizen? So my response was, I would rather go back home, lose everything I've worked for, than be another statistic at the hands of Mr. Tingley. I will not go down without a fight. I will fight and I will not stay silent. But if that means me going home, so be it. I go home. That means I save another life by putting him in jail. And when it came down to it, and the judge was like deciding if he's guilty or not, she said guilty, and his lawyer immediately stood up and he was like, how could this be? She said, I find her credible. And he said, how? She blah, blah, blah. She said, she didn't lie about anything. She had accountability. She admitted her faults. She didn't lie. I find everything that she said to be true, and he's guilty.
I I can't let this moment pass.
Right.
The fact that your quote unquote faults are on the table because you were drinking wine amidst all of the nonsense that transpired with him. And the only thing that they can get on you is, well, she had wine in the house when she knew he was trying to recover or knew he had a problem and she was drinking wine. And we're calling it your fault as if you provided equal amounts of abuse to homeboy.
Oh, they completely try to shift the blame. It was all my fault. But I didn't argue that, I didn't say, no, 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 I didn't, no, no, no. Everything he said, I just had accountability. And I said, yeah, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I should have been more supportive. So there was no argument for him to have. And that's what made his little bald head red.
Little red bald head.
So, I mean, and the judge was so fair. I mean, she was like, she even gave him a chance to go to trial. She said, "Do you not want to say?" He said, "No." She said, "I can't, like, you understand that you're not getting up in trial." Now, I think he didn't go up in trial because he couldn't lie under oath. Whatever my lawyer or the public prosecutor would ask him, he couldn't lie under oath. And that's why I think he didn't go up to trial. And yeah, she found him guilty.
And how long did he stay in jail?
No, so that is the thing. He got out on probation. Very strict probation. Um, they got out on probation. But my main thing was that I'm safe. I got a protection order. Um, that he has to do community service and he has to attend anger management classes. And, it's somebody holding him accountable. Like for me, I didn't want him to rot in jail. I don't want that for him. I don't want that. Like for a murderer, yes. For really, really, I don't want that for him. All I wanted was some accountability. So, I was really happy with the judge's decision. But now this is where I'm really upset because he's appealing it. And I've I've come to the decision that if he wins this appeal, and you must keep in mind that he has such expensive attorneys working for him, like the best, like I said, just like his criminal attorneys, like he has the best for these guys. Like, if he wins the appeal, all I know is I have to get a restraining order. I have to get a no contact. I have to get a protection because I don't know if my protection becomes null and void if he wins the appeal. Which is really scary to me. I mean, it's really scary because I have no doubts that he will really hurt me again because he's angry now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, never mind before, like, now he's angry, angry. I have gone against him. I have stood up to him. I have exposed him. But I haven't exposed him in a way, like using his name and berating him. I have just used my words, and that was the most important thing to me was I do not have the power of money to fight him. I cannot do that. But what I do have, what he cannot take away from me, is the power of my voice. He cannot silence me anymore. My voice is more powerful than his money will ever be. So.
I absolutely love that. I really don't want to ask you anything else, but I got to ask you one more question. I really wanted to leave it right there. But my last question, Jess, is after all that you've been through, where you were prior to meeting him, how everything transpired, and where you are now, how would you define confidence? And how does confidence feel to you?
To be honest, I'm still figuring that one out. I am a shell of who I used to be. I have been beaten down. I am feeling defeated in ways, but I'm building myself up every single day. I am still figuring that out. And all I can do is take it day by day. And with the support of those around me, like you, I mean, the community's been amazing. And once I publish this book and it's out there, I feel like I will be me. Do you know, it's like you submit an assignment that's due, that you've been working on for so long, and it's like the pressure's off, like everything is out there. It's like that's how I will feel. I will feel like I will start to feel like me again. But right now, it's I take it day by day because I've forgotten who I am because of him. So
Well, we thank you for your honesty. We thank you for your vulnerability, your transparency. We pray and send all good energy, good vibes your way as you are on your healing journey. We are so beyond grateful that you have tapped into the power of your voice. And I can see the confidence. It may not always be high. Sometimes it may fluctuate, but I can see the confidence and the courage and the bravery to say, you tried to strip me down. You tried to take me from everyone and everything that I knew and loved. You tried to make me forget who I am and what I'm here to do and the impact I can have, but I refuse to let you do that. And I'm going to use my voice to fight back. And that's what this is all about. This is about helping people overcome the trauma that they've been through, helping people tap into the power that's within, and helping people use the pain that they had to help guide other people away from the pain or trauma that they're currently going through. Jessica,
thank
I
you.
can't thank you enough for
I
taking your time out.
No, I appreciate you and thank you for allowing me to share my story. And if I could just say one more thing,
Please do.
do not allow them to silence you. Your voice is the most powerful thing that you can use in the right way. Make sure you are smart about it. Make sure you know your rights and make sure you know the law. But do not let them silence you. Do not let them bully you. You need to rise above that. And remember, your words make a difference. So,
And on that note, we're going to leave y'all with this. Keep showing up, keep sharing your love, keep shining your light. This has been another amazing episode of the Confidence Way podcast. Y'all know what it is. We gone. Pew, 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 pew.